Coach Latasha back in the building with the story time. Welcome to Clara's Revival. I'm going to share a little bit with y'all about my ratchet past and have a message for you at the end. So during this time, I was in an abusive relationship with someone I'm going to call Pookie. At this time, I was about 21 years old. This was at the point to where I was getting the courage to leave, and God was really working and talking to me during this time. So, child, I'm driving in the country going to see Pookie, driving through this small town called Black Ankle, North Carolina. That's right, Black Ankle, North Carolina. I'll come back to that. So as I'm driving through Black Ankle, North Carolina, I'm feeling this sense of dread, first of all, about how he's going to react. He's very abusive. He's very manipulative, always has something to say about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, you know, and of course he's locked up. So he's lost control. So I already know I'm dreading this trip, but at the same time, it's one of the most peaceful, serene, country road driving, just smooth trips where God was just talking to me and I was just enjoying the scenic route. So I come upon this place and it feels like it lasted for about maybe 5 miles. I start to hear singing. And as I start to hear singing, like a humming. And what reminded me of this story, y'all, I was watching Sinners. And as I'm hearing this, like this almost Negro spiritual sounding type song being sung in my mind from my peripheral, I start to see slaves on the field. And at this time, and to this day, Black Ankle, North Carolina still exists. But at this time, as I'm driving through, it's still miles of open field. This is just straight country I'm driving through. As I'm going through, I think, Montgomery County. The nearest city that I knew of was a city called Troy. So as I'm driving through, hearing the slaves, seeing them, I'm like, oh my God. You know, at this point in my life, I'm already in tune with my spiritual gifts, but God has been talking to me and really allowing me to piece together my gift of being able to sense imprints or sense energies of major events. If a death has occurred in a home, in an area, I will feel it. If it's a historical site, I will most definitely feel spirit. So this is something that I've always felt as a child, just always feeling like, oh my God, why everywhere we move, do I feel haunted? Why are there ghosts everywhere, almost everywhere we've lived? And I started to realize that was me. So at this point, I'm accepting that, but I'm still like blown away. God is just like expanding my gifts, and he's been talking to me and giving me the courage to, you know, leave this abuser. So I'm just driving through and feeling that peace. The whole time I'm on this trip, I'm feeling like I'm having like an out-of-body experience. I just feel like there was like the spiritual side of me observing my physical body, and my physical body was just like existing. I don't know how I got to my destination. It was just like I just arrived. I was consciously not there, as God was like just talking to me and just wrapping me up in spirit and communicating with me. So when I go to see Pookie, of course, he ruined the spirit, you know, with all the demands and commands. And at the end of that trip, I'm like determined. I'm like, you know what, God? He's locked up. This is my opportunity to leave. There was a sense of urgency in the way that God was talking to me. And it was just saying, go, leave. I had been preparing. You know, I had gotten another job because I had just lost everything. As he's in and out of jail, I'm rebuilding my life. I'm just like, you know what? I'm ready to leave. God says, go. So I get home, and one of the first things I do when I get home is find out, honey, more about Black Ankle, North Carolina. So I had to figure out, where did this name come from? Where did the name Black Ankle come from? And it comes from the miners, the gold miners, the people who were looking for gold, gems, and different stones were known to have black or dark ankles at the end of work. So that was one of the major ways of economy growth for North Carolina at the time. It does actually have that history. That's where the name came from. At first I was like, because here in the South, nothing surprises me. I have seen some crazy things, crazy names, crazy mindsets, still sundown towns existing in North Carolina. But at the end of this, I want to say, if you find yourself in a point of transition, if you find yourself in a point of being in a toxic relationship that you know you don't need to be in, a toxic situation that you know needs to end, and God is talking to you, God is nudging you, it's best to react with urgency. Because I'm telling you, times when I didn't react with urgency with certain things, I had to pay the price. But for this particular situation, when God said move, and I was already lagging, had been lagging. When God said move, this was around my 7th, 8th attempt to leave, like research says. This was my last time, and I stayed gone. After that individual was released from prison, I started my life fresh. He finds me and stalks me for 2 years before he decides to leave me alone. After that, my life began to just increase. Any direction, anything that I did that followed God, there was increase. There was pain with my struggle, but there was increase. So I shared this story that was sort of all over the place with you to say, when God says move, I want you to move. All right? At this point, Spirit led me to pick 2 of my oracle decks to share a message, to see whatever comes out. Okay, I have 2 decks here. I have a Miracles Now deck. We are going to pull out an affirmation for that and see what Spirit, what God wants you to know, what he wants to communicate to you today. I am ready to receive love. Wow. I am ready to receive love. To me, this speaks of putting down like that toxic sort of love. The love that was really trauma and infatuation and almost obsession. A trauma bond, something that was very unhealthy for you. This talks about seeking true love in your life, true love for yourself, being able to receive from others, allowing people to pour into you because you've dealt with people taking from you for so long. Be ready to receive love on all levels. I'm not just talking about a relationship. That is coming. That is coming. But before, you must do the work. You must heal. You must learn to love yourself, learn to receive. I am ready to receive love in all areas of your life. That's a beautiful one. I like that one. I like that one. Next, I'm going to go to the Moonology deck. All right, let's see what Spirit wants you to know from the Moonology deck. Beautiful deck. One of my favorites. All right. Expect powerful change. Expect powerful change. New moon eclipse. See, you can't see what's happening because everything hurts so bad. You feel so uncomfortable. You feel like you've not been seen. You feel like you've been betrayed. You feel like things have just been taken from you. You don't see the other side yet. When you start to move and make those changes and move when God says move, expect powerful change. And when God says move, do so, family. Okay. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, if this resonated with you, if you learned anything today, if you enjoyed my story, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I am Latasha. This is Claire's Revival. I am your one and only self-revival and master spirit coach. Thank you for listening, fam. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.